Hey you guys, welcome, come on in. I'm Joel from Upscale. I'm the old timer, and let me show you around the house. This is the office where I worked during COVID, during the lockdown. I still work there on Saturdays. The store's closed on Saturdays, but you can still call us. We take care of you there. Let me show you the rest of the house. This is my TV room. Great TV. Wonderful tiny stereo, because I want great sound all the time, even when I'm watching movies. This is my mantle of pride, where I have my big hockey trophies. Sean Paul, eat your heart out. Sean Paul is a hockey goalie, they're nuts. He's a great analog guy, but I doubt he has a wall of trophies like that. This is a pretty cool thing. I was a hotshot actor, that's why I came to LA years ago. This was a lobby, this was a card from a hotel showing movies that they were playing. Please get a look at that. That's pretty cool. This is my knick-knack wall with books, with all kinds of cool stuff. The Legion of Superheroes. I've got Johnny Cash over there. I've got a lot of St. Louis Blues stuff because I'm a big hockey fan, as you can tell. And this is the dining room. This is the table where my girlfriend's mom, who's 94 years old, Miss Imogene, kicks our butt at Scrabble at 94 years old whenever she feels like it. And this is the beginning of the music room. This is the part of the music room where I create music. I'm lucky enough to sing out with bands occasionally. There might be some footage of that. I get to play with some really good players. My microphone, my stand, my guitar, and this is my system. Let me tell you a little bit about it, but I want to get comfortable. I'm Joel from Upscale Audio. How did I get here? I got here from East Tennessee. I was originally a hillbilly. I talk like that there. I'm Joey Bennett from East Tennessee. How you doing there? And then we moved to St. Louis when I was 10, and that's a Yankee town. And they sound like they're from Fargo. Oh, where are you from there, eh? You're a hillbilly. And I knew they didn't talk right, you know, and I knew none of it sounded like, anyway. That got me into thinking about accents. That got me into speech and theater. I got into acting. I did pretty well in St. Louis. I got cast in Escape from New York, which they shot in St. Louis. And I had a nice little part. I was the only guy in the movie that seriously wounded Snake Plissken. I shot him with a crossbow. He limped the whole second half of the movie because of my arrow. Isaac Hayes missed him with an Uzi from 30 yards, but I got him left-handed quick with a crossbow. Anyway, so I had all my union cards before I moved to LA. I moved to LA, I worked as an actor. You know, I did pretty well for several years, but it is a nutty way to make a living. It really is for a guy with a family. So in between acting jobs, I walked down, my wife was using the car, and so I walked down, and in those days there was a stereo store on every street. Got a job in hi-fi, and it was a really groovy job for a guy. Play music, you like that? Yeah? Okay, good. You know? But then from there I got into it and I learned about it, and I got a job at a higher end store. First time selling tube gear. The first time I took a tube preamp home, it was amazing. I'll never forget it. Anyway, from there I went to other hi-fi jobs. The industry kind of moved away from 2-channel, got to multi-channel, worked for home theater, but that's not fun. Home theater is money and you got contractors. I want music. I want something that's going to make me weep. And Upscale Audio offered me a job, and they do it the right way. They sell the right stuff in the right manner, and my system reflects that. You know, it's really, listen to Kevin. Kevin is Kevin, but he knows his stuff. If you listen to Kevin, you'll be okay. Why do I love Tannoy? I love Tannoy because they're the most real sounding dynamic loudspeaker I've ever heard. The human voice is in the mid-range. That's what's going to make you weep. That's what's going to reach out and grab your heart, is the mid-range and the voice, and nobody does it like Tannoy. The end. I didn't always feel that way. It's pretty recent, actually. When I first got hired, I was prepared not to like them. I'd heard of them, I'd never heard them. You know, their marketing is not that great. If America knew Tannoy, it would be huge because it's amazingly real. I thought it was a niche speaker that was goofy looking, that had weird price points, but when I heard them, within a week They caught my attention. Within a month, I called it a swing that no other speaker I'd heard had. And that swing turned out to be the coherence of the tweeter in the mid-range, the timing, the point source. It's awesome. REL subwoofers, I think, single-handedly revolutionized the audiophile market. They showed that no great two-channel system, I don't care what kind of audiophile you are, is complete until you've added a fine REL subwoofer. They cement the illusion that my butt and this chair are in the recording studio or the concert venue. That's REL. Now that I've heard the Impal, I'm really intrigued. The only thing about, I'm using the Remix now. The Remix is only 25 watts. So I have to have speakers that are like fairly sensitive, like these Sterlings I think are 92 or 93. I love the Autograph Minis. I think the Autograph Minis are one of the best buys in hi-fi, but they're 88 dB. And in a room like this, that Remix just would not work. I don't listen really loud. If you get the Remix, you better have some sensitive speakers in a not too big a room, and you better not be, wanting to hear the Who live leads. But if you want to hear reasonably loud music with reasonably sensitive speakers that sounds miraculous, look at the Impal Remix. If you need a little more oomph, PrimaLuna Evo 300. But what I'm looking at now, I'd love to have a big old Impal. A grand, 10 grand. My ship will come in someday. We're always bumping our head as audiophiles against, I'm in heaven, And then after a while you go, yeah, I'm in heaven. Is there another heaven above there? So my next heaven would be the big Impal. Must be 5:30 somewhere. Alexa, play James Taylor.
This is James Taylor from Spotify.
Thanks for coming by. You still here? All right. It's a pretty big tub.